Welcome, Farm School friends and other friends and family. I'm Miss Sara. Sometimes you guys call me Miss Yoga Teacher. I am back coming from my house all the way to your house for our next yoga practice. I have with me today my daughter, Sally.
Hi.
This is Sally. She also used to go to farm school, and she's going to help me today. We're going to do a class about ladybugs. Last week we did bunnies. Today is ladybugs, because this is the time of year, in Texas at least, where a lot of people who have gardens in their backyards, or farm school has a garden. Maybe you have a garden in your neighborhood. All those little plants that were planted in the garden, the seeds that were planted in the garden are starting to sprout, all the spring plants and the spring vegetable gardens and the fruit gardens. And this is a time where some people release ladybugs into their gardens. You remember at farm school, you guys did that.
We also did it here once.
We did it here once too. We have ladybugs. You can get them at the garden store, and they have them all ready for you, and they're all together in a little bunch, and you take them out and you release them into your garden because they help protect your plants and vegetables out in the garden.
Bugs that eat them.
From bugs that eat them. Do you remember what those bugs are called? Anybody know what the
No.
bugs are called that ladybugs eat a lot? They're little tiny white bugs. They're called aphids. And the aphids are the bugs. They're not so good because they'll eat up your plants. And the ladybugs, you put them out there so that the ladybugs will then go and eat all these little aphids. So I have some questions for you today. When I ask you questions, I won't be able to hear you, but I want you to answer them anyways. So I have a question for you. The question is, what color are ladybugs? Sally, what do you think?
They can be red with dots. They can be orangey red with dots. And they can be all red with no dots. They
No
can
dots?
Be yellow.
They can be yellow, red, orange. Sometimes they have dots. Sometimes they don't have dots. That's right. So we're going to start our practice today and start moving our bodies. But first, I want you to look around you and see, is there space for yourself to move? If you roll backwards and forwards, are you going to bump into anything? So make sure you have space. You don't need a yoga mat, but if you have one, you can use it. Make space for your family. Your mom or your dad or your brother or your sister could do some yoga with us too. We can all do it together. It'll be fun. So we're going to start in our sleeping ladybug pose, which we know is child's pose, which is where we start a lot of our yoga practices. So Sally will start coming down into child's pose, and I'll start showing you child's pose. There's a couple ways you can do child's pose. You can have your arms out in front of you, or you can have your hands back behind you like Sally, and you have your forehead resting all the way on the ground. You can take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Good. We can pretend this is our little sleeping ladybug pose. Sally, do you remember what ladybug is in Spanish?
Mariquita.
Mariquita. So we can pretend we're little mariquitas today. Maybe you rock a little side to side. Maybe you massage your forehead a little bit or feel your hips wiggling a little bit. All these little sleepy ladybugs.
They're waking up.
They're starting to wake up. Let's start to wake up, little ladybugs. Let's start to come out of our little sleeping pose and come all the way up into our crisscross applesauce shape. We're going to do our flower power breath because we just learned that ladybugs protect our flowers and our plants outside. So our flower power breath, we did this last week too for our bunny class. We do it on most of our classes at farm school. Let's reach up with one arm, take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Reach out in front of you and imagine you're picking a beautiful flower, maybe one out of your garden, and bring it to your nose and take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Good. Let's reach up our other arm. Big breath in, big breath out as we reach for that flower and bring it to your nose. And then let it go. Let all those little petals fall to the ground. We know that that flower power breath is something we can do anytime. We don't have to pick the flower. We could just sit and take the deep breath in and take the deep breath out just to help us calm down or slow down. Anytime, any place you are, it works. So that's why it's a powerful kind of breath. So these flower power breaths are going to lead us to something else. Ladybugs, when they're very cold, and it's cold outside, it's like winter time, they're still out there in the world, but they hibernate.
They bunch up together.
That's right. They bunch up together. They get all together in a little group like they're snuggling, and that's how they keep warm during the winter months. So we're going to warm up our own bodies with our I Am Amazing song, our Toco El Sol song, Touch the Sun. Can you first find your wiggly fingers and your wiggly toes and feel how strong your belly is to keep your legs and your feet up high? And then can you bring your hands and your feet to the ground and start to roll up very slowly, like the slowest animal you can think of. all the way up, and your arms could come all the way up overhead. Maybe you clap your hands, and then bring your hands back down all the way to your heart. Good. Can you bring your hands out to the sides? Your palms are facing forward. And can you bring your shoulders up to your ears, really up high, and then roll them down their back? A couple times. Roll all the way up to your ears and then down your back. Good. And then can you bring your chin to your chest? And then can you start to bring one ear to one shoulder? And feel that stretch down the side of your neck. And then breathe out and bring your chin back to your chest. Good. Come over to the other side with a breath in. And feel that stretch on the other side of your neck. We're just going to stretch out our neck and our shoulders a little bit before our I Am Amazing song. And then bring your head all the way back to the center of your chest. And roll it up. So the crown of your head, if you had a crown on your head, it would be reaching up to the sky, big and tall. This is our mountain pose, Tadasana. Montaña, I think, is the Spanish word. Yes. Okay. So let's do our I Am Amazing song, guys. Here we go. So if you know it, follow along. And if not, you'll catch on. It's the same shapes every time. It's the same words every class. You ready? Okay, here we go. I am amazing. I am amazing. Namaste. 1 foot. Namaste. 2 feet. Touch the earth. I am strong. I am fun. Shanti, shanti. Touch the sun. Hugs. Shanti, shanti. Touch the sun. Do you remember what shanti means?
The light in me is the light in you.
That's namaste, very close. Shanti means peace, so it just means peace and calm. So that's why we say shanti. So let's do the same song, but we'll do it in Spanish. Same poses. Ready? Here we go. Yo soy amazing, yo soy amazing. Namaste, namaste. Toco la tierra, yo soy fuerte, soy alegre. Shanti, shanti, toco el sol. Hugs, shanti, shanti, toco el sol. And then hop back down to your crisscross applesauce. Bring your hands to your heart real quick and close your eyes. Close your lips. And notice how you feel in your chest, in your heart. Maybe you tell the person you're doing this yoga with how you feel. Does your heart beat faster? Does your breath move quicker? Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Let your arms come down. Maybe blink your eyes open. Good. So let's start as a little baby egg. A little egg. That's how ladybugs begin their life, as little eggs. We're going to come all the way onto our side in our little ladybug egg pose. So you can come into a little ball on your side and curl up. Maybe you hold onto your feet. Maybe you just hold onto your knees like you're in a little ball. And when the ladybugs lay their eggs, they like to lay the eggs right in the middle of a colony of aphids, those bugs that are not so good. They lay their eggs in these colonies of aphids so that when the eggs hatch, so let's pretend we're starting to hatch, when those little ladybugs hatch out of their eggs, they're surrounded by food, all those aphids that they want to munch and crunch and eat up. So it gets them big and strong really fast. So we've hatched out of our eggs. Good job.
Aphids are sort of good for the ladybugs, but bad for the farmers.
That's exactly right. That's ladybugs love the aphids, farmers do not. So, but it's good that aphids are here. The ladybugs would have nothing to eat, right? There's kind of all connected.
Since ladybugs eat other bugs, those bugs would also dominate the crops.
That's right. That's exactly right. There's this huge web. Everything's connected, all the different things in the world. So it's very good that we have all of these different things.
Even the bad ones.
Even the bad ones, the not so good ones are good for something, right? That's right. So the ladybugs, because they like to eat these aphids and they protect our plants and our vegetables, we kind of think of them as the warriors of our gardens and of our yards, the warriors that protect everything. So in yoga, there's 3 warrior poses, and you guys have done them before. They're kind of poses that are very common in yoga. So if you keep doing yoga until you're a grown-up, you'll do them in all your yoga classes. If your mom or your dad does yoga, they know warrior poses. But if they don't, you get to teach them right now. So let's first come into downward facing dog. So tuck your toes and lift your bottom up to the sky. Let your head be heavy. Maybe you shake it out. And maybe you start to bend your knees one at a time just to stretch out your legs. You can kind of look side to side. And take a look at your fingers. You want your fingers to be fanned out like big high five hands. Good. And if it feels too much like to keep your legs straight, you can always bend your knees, but let your head be heavy. Good. Can you start to walk your feet to the middle of your space and then start to roll up slowly again, all the way up, 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 up. Bring your arms up overhead and clap your hands. And then bring your hands back down. Good. So the first warrior pose is called warrior one. So we're going to take one of our legs, it doesn't matter which leg, we're going to step it out in front of us, a big monster step.
A lunge.
Like a lunge, but your back heel is down on the ground, so you're really grounded in your back foot. You're going to bend your front knee really deep, and then your arms are going to come up to the sky on either side of your ears. Good. And so ladybugs have two antennae, and that's how I think about warrior one. We've got two arms up, just like the two antennae that the ladybugs have. What do the ladybugs use their antennae for? They use them for tasting and smelling. That's what they use their antennae for. So this is our warrior one pose. And just like all our poses, we need to do this pose on both legs. So can you bring your hands back down and bring them to your hips? And can you start to take some big steps back, all the way back? Good. So let's do it with the other leg. So bring your other leg out way in front of you and put your back heel so your whole back foot is flat on the ground and bend your front knee real deep. Good. And then start to bring your arms all the way up high. Nice. Good job, Sally. Nice job out there, farm school friends and other friends. So we've got our two antennae up for our ladybug. This is our warrior one pose. Good. Can you bring your hands to your hips? And this time, can you step forward? Can you take a few steps forward onto your mat? Good. So we're going to move into our warrior two pose. Our warrior two pose, let's see, Sally, remember warrior two? It's kind of a sideways pose. So it's kind of like a surfer or a skateboarder or something. You're to the side. So that same kind of shape we did forward, now we're turning to the side. So we're opening our chest up nice and wide to the side. We're going to have one knee bent, our front knee's bent. Yep. Our back legs straight and our arms are straight out like a T, really strong. Good. And then you can look out over your front fingertips if you want. And so this one I think of ladybugs because we have our two really strong legs in the ground, really rooting us into the ground, keeping us here, keeping us steady. How many, if a ladybug is an insect, how many legs does a ladybug have? Does anybody know that out there? Sally, do you know? 6, because all insects have 6 legs. That's right. So for your warrior two, this is, your arms might be getting tired. You're super strong. You got this. Can you start to straighten your front leg and then switch to the other side? You could just bring that foot around, bend the other leg, and bend to that side. Good. And maybe you look over those fingertips. And if your arms are getting tired, maybe you bring them to your hips. Or you shake them out. Get all wiggly. So we've got our 2 legs in the ground. Our ladybugs have their 6 legs into the ground. Good. And then can you start to bring your legs back and your hands to your hips? And can you, like a little penguin, start to heel toe your feet together like you're waddling back together all the way back? Good job, little ladybugs, our warriors. So we have the third warrior pose we're going to do today. And that third warrior is kind of like our bird pose. We've done it before. It looks like our bird pose. Our arms are out to the side. One leg's back behind you. And it doesn't matter how far you tip forward. You could just tip a little bit. But look at something that's not moving. And think about your big toe really pressing into the ground. This is our warrior 3 pose. Good. And if you get a little wobbly and tippy, catch yourself and then try again. Nice balance. And let's try the other leg, okay? So bring your other leg back behind you. Start to lift it up and let your wings spread out. So ladybugs, how many wings do you think a ladybug has?
2.
2? Close. We have 2 wings here, right? A ladybug has 4 wings because that outer shell that's colorful is actually a set of wings. They use that for protection of the wings underneath. So there's little wings underneath that help them fly, that make them fly.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, and then the outer shell is considered wings, so they actually have 4 wings. How cool is that? Yeah, so that they can fly from plant to plant. So let's come all the way back down to our seat. So they fly from plant to plant, eating up all those bad bugs, but they also have to fly for another reason. Why would they also need to fly, do you think?
Don't they like fly? No, that's monarch butterflies.
If we're talking about all this big web of connected things.
Oh, for predators, so that they don't get eaten by other things like frogs.
Right, exactly right. That's right. So ladybugs will fly around so that they don't get eaten by something. And what was the animal you said that might eat them?
Frogs or dragonflies.
A frog or a dragonfly. Maybe you guys can think of something else that might eat a frog out there. Let's first do a frog pose. We love this one at farm school. So you come into a little squat. If you want to, you could first practice putting your hands together if that feels okay. Your frog might look something like this, and that's okay too. But if you're down low, you also could bring your hands to your mat or to the ground, because we like to hop in our frog poses in our classes. So one thing I want you to look at which way your toes are going, and make sure your knees are going in the same direction as your toes, so everything's going the same way. So bring your little frog feet back down to the ground. And we're gonna hop together 3 times, and we're gonna say what a frog says every time we hop, okay? So on the count of 3, we'll hop. 1, 2, 3. Ribbit! Whoa, that was good hopping. Let's try it again. 1, 2, 3. Ribbit! Wow. Let's see if we can get our biggest hop. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ribbit! Wow. Great job, hoppers. Great job, little frogs. How do you say frog in Spanish? Do you know, Sally? La rana. That's right. You say it better than me, but that's how you say frog in Spanish. Okay, so a frog is something that'll eat a ladybug. You mentioned another insect that likes ladybugs.
A dragonfly.
A dragonfly.
Or a cricket.
Or a cricket. A cricket's another hopping one. Let's do the dragonfly first, though. So can you come to your hands and knees just to give your little legs a break? And maybe you kind of find your little cat shape and your cow shape, just to stretch out your back and to stretch into your hips a little, maybe side to side after being in that frog for so long. So we're gonna do our dragonfly pose. Our dragonfly pose, we're gonna take one of our legs and bring it through between our hands.
Oh.
Yep, so that foot's right between your hands. Good. If you want to, you can lift your back knee up so you have a long leg, or can stay down, either way. And whichever knee is in front, you're gonna lift that arm. So the same arm of the knee that's in front. So you're gonna lift up that arm and twist. So you're like twisting towards your front leg. Good. And these arms become your dragonfly wings. That's exactly right. You could look up if that feels okay for your neck, or you could just kind of look out to the side. Now you can wave to me. Hi guys. Maybe give a high five to your friend next to you, or your mom or your dad. Totally cool. Then bring that little dragonfly wing back down. Good. And can you start to bring that foot back in, so you're back into your hands and knees. And maybe you find your cat shape and your cow shape a couple times to stretch out in between the sides. Good. So let's find the dragonfly on the other side. Can you bring your other foot in between your hands? And then decide, do you want to lift your back leg or not? Last time I didn't. I'm going to keep it down this time too. Look at your front leg. That's the arm that's going to lift up, because you're going to twist towards your front leg. So I want to be looking away from you this time and really reach up to the sky. Feel your chest rotating up to the sky. And maybe you give a high five to your friend, or a high five to your own head. Or maybe you just wave to me and say hi. Hi. Good. And then start to bring your hand all the way back down. Good job, dragonflies. Can you bring that foot back in carefully? And maybe you find child's pose. Come all the way down. Take a rest. Let your head come down. Imagining you're that sleepy ladybug again. That mariquita. That little ladybug. Good. And then start to peek your little eyes open, because there might be something else coming besides the frog and the dragonfly, and we have to be ready. What would be, excuse me guys, another animal? You said a cricket. What about something that has 8 legs?
A spider.
A spider. So I have a question, farm school friends and other friends. How would you do a spider shape with your body? If you wanted to look like a spider, show me what your spider would look like. It could be anything. You could be upstanding like a spider. You could be on your bottom like a spider. You could be on your belly like a spider. Let's see Sally's spider. Sally's got, ooh, that's kind of cool. She's kind of got her bottom lifted but down, and her legs are out like this, like a spider. Oh, I like that one. Some of you guys might be up high like a spider. Another way, sometimes you guys call this one crab pose, or sometimes we pretend it's like a table or something. This might be a spider too, and you could kind of crawl around. Just make sure you have space. You're not going to bump into anybody. Oh, or you could do a big, like, gymnastics kind of back bend for a spider. That would be kind of cool, too. Good job, little spiders. Let's come all the way back to our seat. Nice. So, another question. You said a cricket. How would you do a cricket pose but make it different than a frog pose? Because they both are things that hop.
Well, crickets have long legs, so maybe make your legs more spread out like the spider.
Yeah, that would be a good one. So cricket could look, what if you had a cricket kind of down low or something? Like you were kind of in a low squat, like a cricket like this or something.
Crickets come down, and it's like a spring. They come down.
And they kind of kick their legs out.
And then they jump. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe you guys practice some cricket poses and some cricket hopping. You could even practice kind of kicking your legs up. Again, be careful. You don't want to hit anything around you. But if there's nothing around you, you could practice doing some kicks. Yeah, nice little crickets. Good. And then can you come all the way back to your crisscross applesauce? Let's think of one more something that would go after a ladybug that we could become with our bodies. If you can think of any out there, you are welcome to do them. Find that pose with your body.
You did it? Maybe a bee or something?
Oh, bees like to get pollen, so I don't think a bee would get it.
Maybe a wasp.
I don't know.
Because some wasps eat spiders, so
That's possible.
Yeah.
Well, how would you do a wasp shape with your body? Wasps have wings. Wasps have stingers. What do you think?
Maybe like child's pose.
Ooh, that's kind of a cool wasp pose. Yeah, you can kind of stick your bottom out like your stinger, and then you have your wasp wings out behind you. I like that one. That's a good one. Very nice. Good job. So let's start to come all the way back up to our standing feet. I want us to practice our warrior poses. Let's see if we can remember all three of our warrior poses from earlier. Because like I said, these are ones that you'll do your whole life in yoga. They're important poses, just like downward dog or child's pose. And even our whole Toko El Sol or I Am Amazing song, that whole song is the sun salutation. That's why we say touch the sun. And that's something you'll do in all of your yoga classes as you get older. So let's start with our warrior one pose. Warrior one.
Another wasp pose you could do.
Another wasp pose? Can you hold that one and we'll do it after our warriors? Okay, we'll do that one after our warriors. So warrior one was the one where we step forward, yep. And we have our two antennas up to the sky. Good, warrior one, that's a good one. And if your antennas are up to the sky and your shoulders are coming into your ears, can you roll them down your back like we did earlier when we were rolling our shoulders down our back? Nice. You can have your back heel down, all the way down. Nice, Sally, good. And then let's bring our hands to our hips. Let's step forward for this one. And let's step back for the next one. So bring your other leg back. Good. Arms are up. Good job, warriors. Put your back foot down. Good. And really bend through your front knee. You got it. Nice, everybody.
It's a stretch.
It's a big stretch, isn't it? Stretches your back leg. Stretches your front leg, your arms.
It stretches back here if your heel is more straight forward.
Yes, that's exactly right. And then can bring your hands back to your hips. And can you step forward again? So let's do our warrior two. So that's when we're like a surfer, dude. We step out and we're kind of facing the side with our body. Our back leg's nice and straight. Our front leg's bent again. And we can look over towards our front leg. Maybe you hold hands even with your person. Hi. Good job. And then can you switch? Can you straighten your bent leg and bring that foot around? And then bring the other foot around and bend through that knee so you're facing the other direction. Maybe you look over those fingertips. So warrior two, we said we've got our two strong legs in the ground. Our ladybug friends are insects, so they have 6 legs.
6 legs.
That's right. Good. And then can you bring your hands back to your hips and start to waddle your feet all the way back in. Our last one's warrior three. Which one was warrior three? The flying one. That's right. We have our 2 wings. Our ladybug friends, we found out, have 4 wings. You can hold on to somebody next to you, and that'll help you stay lifted too. That's a great balancing idea. And we got to try both sides. So bring that foot down and bring the other leg back. Nice flying ladybugs. Flying away from all of our friends that are trying to eat us and flying towards all the aphids we want to eat. And let's come all the way back down.
Does one of your friends if they try to eat you?
Well, that's true. Friends don't try to eat you, Sally said. So another thing ladybugs do to get away from their friends that are not their friends is they play dead. So they play dead. So we're going to lay on our backs. And this is our final pose of our yoga practice today. It's called Shavasana. So we're going to lay on our backs just like last week Sally will show us. You can have your legs out. You could have your arms out. If that doesn't feel good, you could have your knees up together. Good. And really the only thing about Shavasana is we want to keep our lips sealed. So we want to be real quiet. You can close your eyes if that feels okay. You could always bring your hands to your belly if that feels good. Or one on your belly, one on your heart. I want you to take some deep breaths here. And just allow yourself to settle down. We like to use this final pose just to try to rest our mind. Come to stillness, slow everything down. And just breathe in and out your normal breath. Imagine our little adventure today with our ladybugs. Imagine your gardens that you've seen either at your own house or at your school, or at your family's house or your neighborhood. Imagine the hard work that all those ladybugs are doing out there at this very moment. Appreciating all the animals in the world. Take one more big deep breath. Fill up your whole belly and let it go through your mouth. Good. Start to hug your knees into your belly. You're still on your back. Maybe you rock a little side to side. And then start to come to one side or the other so you're back into that little egg shape we did earlier, that little ladybug egg. And then start to press into your hands and come all the way up to your seat. Good. We always finish our class with our Namaste song. So we're going to put on some music. And we're going to sing together, first in English and then in Spanish. And if you don't remember the words, that's okay. You can just hum along.
Namaste, namaste, the light in me sees the light in you. Namaste, namaste, you honor me, I honor you.
Good job, you guys. Now I'll sing in Spanish, or you can just hum along.
Namaste, namaste, te veo en mí, me ves en ti. Namaste. For me, rezo por ti.
Good job, guys. And like Sally said earlier, Namaste just means that light in me, that love in me, sees that light in you and love in you. And we're all connected, just like all those things we talked about today. So we have a little craft for you guys to do if you want to do it later today or tomorrow or sometime over the weekend when you have time. Sally's going to show you something fun that we can do that has to do with ladybugs.
So you can create little ladybugs out of magic beans that you get from
Mountain laurels. Mountain laurel seeds. You guys have those at farm school. They're little red seeds that come out of the little pods of the mountain laurel tree. But what else could you do if you don't have a mountain laurel tree?
You can get rocks and markers.
You could get rocks and markers.
And so to make the ladybug, you're gonna need a marker, or like a black marker or red and black marker if you don't have the mountain beans. You can, so you'll color in the face first, so it will be a black little face. So you'll like draw a circle, but since it's small, it doesn't need to be perfect. And then you can color in your circle.
You can color in your circle, or you can make a smiley face or little eyeballs. And then what do you do?
And then after you're done coloring in your circle, you will draw a line across the back to where it's like the wings.
So it looks like the wings. You'll make a little line all the way down their back. Yep, good.
So you'll draw the line down the back. And it doesn't need to be straight because, again, since it's so small.
And then what do you do on either side of the lines?
And so on the either side of the lines, you can draw dots if you want to. You can draw little hearts if you...
Oh, that'd be cute. So little polka dots for your ladybug dots.
I'm going to try a heart.
And if you get a bigger rock, it might be easier too, like a bigger rock in your yard.
And for a heart...
There's our little dots on the ladybug.
For a heart...
How cute.
You can like just draw 2 little lines. And you don't need to do 5 like I did. You can just do a couple. And so you draw 1 line. And then another line.
So it kind of looks like a V.
And a heart.
And becomes a heart. Super cute,
You can
Sally.
do 3 or 2 or however many fits.
Very cute. So that's something you guys can do together later. It makes you think about our ladybug friends. And join us again next week. I'll post another video on Thursday. You guys take care of each other and have a great day. Bye, guys.
Bye.